So the very first dead end we hit is often where the owner is listed on the tax rolls as living in the vacant house. Most folks get discouraged by that. Not you. You're too smart. You're too sharp. You're too well trained, because now you know that that's a good thing. That means we got to dig a little harder. We got to look a little harder. We got to turn over some rocks to find that salamander. We got to put on our Sherlock Holmes cap and do a little more work so that we can locate this seller that no one else can. Now, tax roll information is also available for many of you online. You can call your local tax assessor and find out where the website is that you can go and look at the tax rolls. Tax rolls, by the way, will not only indicate ownership, they'll the information will also include the square footage of the house, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the assessed value, the last transfer or 2 or 5, the current ownership, of course, we talked about what they paid for it on that last transfer, and stuff like that. It's data that the tax assessor maintains in order to accurately, there's a joke, assess taxes. So also bear in mind that a lot of times, and I'm sure some of you can really identify with this, tax roll information is not always accurate. Not every community, township, county is as accurate as perhaps they could be or should be. So bear that in mind. But your tax rolls are going to be a good source of information. How are you going to get it? You can call them, you can march in, you can go online, or if you subscribe to a service like we do in here, Fidelity SiteX, we can have that information at our fingertips from an internet-connected PC at any time, 24/7, no matter where we're located. And I happen to like that because many of you know that I travel a lot. And while I'm traveling, I've got website. My website is sucking in leads, and the leads are coming into the office and they're being forwarded to me. And I'll pull comps and the tax rolls right from Fidelity SiteX's system, no matter where I am, no matter what time it is. And I happen to like that. It's very inexpensive, and it's a wonderful service, and I recommend that you use it. Fidelity SiteX. Here's a good little tidbit. If you go to CameronDirect.com and you look under the tools page, you'll find information about Fidelity SiteX, and currently, as I'm speaking here, and presumably as you're listening, it's worth checking. Currently, my representative Scott from Fidelity is offering to waive the sign-up fee for any of my students, of which naturally you are one. So if you go to CameronDirect.com, go to the tools page, take a look at right there near the top of the page, it'll mention Fidelity SiteX. Click that link and it'll give you Scott's information. Give him a call, talk to him about his service and the costs. Dirt cheap, well worth the investment, and let him know that I sent you, and he'll waive that setup fee. Okay, next thing we could do is to look them up on the internet. Look up this owner. Now that we have their name on the internet, we are going to need their name in order to do it. But have you ever done a search, a Google search, say for example, on your own name or someone else's name, and seen how many pages come up with it? I mean, we're talking tens, if not hundreds of thousands of web pages with your name on it, or their name on it. This, I have found, may work, but can be a humongous waste of time as well. You could put a FSBO sign in their yard, a for sale by owner sign with your phone number on it. Now, this one takes what I call chutzpah. It takes some real guts, cojones, let's say. Put a for sale by owner sign in the yard of the vacant house with your phone number on it. And what will often happen is the owner of the property will hear about it and they'll call you. If you have the chutzpah to do this, I would strongly recommend that you consider having a good, viable story ready so that when the seller calls, you have some explanation for why that sign is in their yard. Naturally, you did it accidentally. So that is a strategy that can work, but may not be for you. If that's not for you, don't do it. There's plenty of other ways to locate the seller. That's just one that I'm suggesting because a student actually suggested it to me. All right? You could send a letter to the seller. Now, we talked about that a minute ago. The letter that says address service requested. Remember, we talked about two different types of letters. One is address service requested, and the other is return service requested. In this case, we already know the house is empty. It's vacant, so we don't need to do return service requested. In this case, we would use that address service requested. Where would we send this letter? To the owner of this vacant house. And if their address is on the tax rolls is that of the vacant house and we have no other address for them, you might say, well, what the heck is the point of doing that? They're not even there. Well, if you put address service requested on there, and there is a forwarding order on file, you're going to get that forwarding address. Not to mention the fact that your piece, your mail piece, will be forwarded on to them. So now you'll not only have your mail piece forwarded to them, so they'll get a message from you that says, I buy houses, and maybe it's a personalized message. Not a bad idea. But you'll also get their address, so now we can more easily locate their phone number and that sort of thing. Well, that can work, and I've used it and continue to use it. It is a good strategy. Or if you're just plain lazy like me and you want everything done for you, well then skip all that crap and start right here with the skip trace. Now, the skip trace is by far and away the missing link in the real estate business. And what I mean by if you're lazy like me is if you just don't want to deal with looking them up on a Google search and dealing with all the neighbors and neighborhood watch and all that stuff. All that you need is their name and address. So if you've got access to the tax rolls, that's where you'll get their name. Their last known address is that of the vacant house. That's all you need to do is skip trace. And in fact, if you utilize the service I'm about to tell you about, you could have just the address and still get the name of that owner and their location. All right, enter findtheseller.com, where finally you'll run circles around your competition while you make a killing on houses they can't even touch because only you can find the seller. Findtheseller.com, you may be surprised to learn, is owned by me. And we have taken the real estate business, the real estate investing business by storm, and we are doing great things for a great many folks out there, some of which I know are listening right now and watching. So let me just stop here for 1 second and say thank you very much for your business to you if in fact you already are a customer of ours. Findtheseller.com is changing the lives and the incomes of many real estate investors. Here's an email I got from Lydia Hubble. This one came recently, and this is a customer whose life and income we're changing. It says, the last skip trace I had you do got me $7,500 in about a week's time. Thanks. Other investors were mad because they'd been trying to find the seller and couldn't. I'm not sharing your service with anyone. I want to keep findtheseller.com as my secret weapon. I love that. And the reason I show you that is because I do want you to know that our service is not all that widely known about. And so that does give you an advantage. We don't have a huge marketing budget in here, and we're not, taking out ads in expensive publications. Most of our customers come by word of mouth. And so it is sort of a best kept secret, which I think you can appreciate. All right, what is a skip trace? Well, it is it's an old term that refers to, it's an old landlord's term that refers to tracking down a skipped tenant so that you could recover money for damages or unpaid rent. It's an old layman's term that happens to be used here as well. It is a search of records that are not available to you that do often produce the results you're looking for. And that's, of course, the current address and phone number of the person you're seeking. And we're going to talk more about that. The typical fee for a skip trace is $40 to $90. And that's what you'll find is kind of the going rate for a comprehensive search. And that is what we provide, a full comprehensive search. Understand that if you're seeing a price that is lower, you are probably not looking at a full comprehensive search. And that is what you want. Our fee is only $24.95, again, for that full comprehensive search. Now, for that fee, you'll receive a dossier-style report that will include some or all of the following. Again, some or all of the following is included for that one fee. First, and naturally the thing that you're most primarily interested in is the subject's current address and phone number, when available. Now, we track, there are a couple of statistics that we track here in my office very, very closely, and this is one. And what we find is that roughly 70%, give or take a little bit, it kind of hovers around there. We do track it on a monthly basis, but roughly 70% of the time, we're able to get you the subject's current phone number and address. 70% of the time. You might say, well, that's not very good. That's not 100% of the time. Well, let me tell you, 70% of the time is an industry-shattering number. We blow our competition away at 70%. The other 30% of the time, those folks are either not leaving any trail or trail of breadcrumbs behind them, no clues,